Can I tell you something that I probably haven't admitted or said out loud before? At the end of 2024, I lost myself. I was doing the best I ever had in business. I had all the programs, showing up online with all of the trending audio, saying the things you were supposed to say, getting on the podcast. And yet I never felt more disconnected from myself than I did at that time. And it was really confusing because I had invested a lot in coaching, a lot in programs. Somewhere along the way, I lost myself. I think when I look back, it is why business started to feel so hard. So that's what I'm going to break down in this episode is why you might be feeling business is so difficult right now when you're doing all the things that the gurus say you should be doing, and why it's probably not even yielding the results. Because that was the other thing. I was doing all the things, but yet my business had pretty much been plateaued for the last 12 months, right? And so I said, no more. Something has to change here. And the thing that needed to change was getting back to myself. This episode is specifically created for you if you feel like you love your business and you started your business because you were passionate and you love serving this type of group of people. And somewhere along the way, you have found yourself in a box with trending audio, and you're like, this is, I guess, a version of me now. If you're listening to this episode, I'm willing to bet this is the problem you're facing. You're building a business that looks like everyone else's that is successful, right? They're showing up online being like 100K business, 15K months, and you're doing what they're saying and you're buying programs from them and you're so frustrated because you're like, why isn't this working for me? You see, the online business community, I love it and I'm a part of it, but it pisses me off sometimes because they've created what seems like this blueprint that we need to follow. And in order to have $1 million business or a $500,000 business or a 6-figure business, you need to have this amount of offers. You need to be making this amount per month. You need to wear these things. You need to have this designer bag. And you need to be really flashy and talk about money and shiny things all the time. While that's some version of success, I know from coaching hundreds of women that not every woman's version of success is a designer handbag. For some women, it is being able to have a 3-day work week and spend the rest of the time with their kids. For some, it's being able to have more time to travel and see the world. For others, it's being able to, invest more in their education or in their hobbies and interests. When the industry is telling you what your version of success needs to be and how you need to get there, it's no wonder that you're probably feeling super frustrated and lost. When you're doing that, here's what's happening. You're looking to someone else that is outside of you for the blueprint and for the answers, instead of listening to what's inside of you. What's really important in the community that I have built and the coaching style that I have is I don't want to coach you to be like me. I want to coach you to be the best version of you and have a business that represents your version of success, your version of freedom, your version of complete passion, because that's what matters the most. I could teach you how to build a business like mine, but you're going to get there and be like, I didn't think this was going to be like this. I thought I was going to feel differently. I want you to arrive, and not only just arrive, but like really arrive and enjoy the journey along the way. And most importantly, when you show up there, you feel like your fucking self. When you're not anchored in who you actually are, everything else starts to look like the answer. I'm going to say that again. When you're not anchored in who you actually are, everything else starts to look like the answer except for you. And building a business from that place is one of the most detrimental things you can do, not only for your clients and your business, but for your mental sanity. Listen, I hear your brain right now. I hear what you're thinking. You're saying to me, but Caitlin, how is anyone going to take me seriously when I am a mom of 2 kids under 5 and I look like a hot mess every day? Or who's going to listen to me if I got let go of my job and I feel like, how could I start a business if someone's letting me go? Or I've tried to start a million things before and I haven't been successful. Let me ask you this. Who told you that showing up as yourself isn't successful? To me, that's one of the most brave and courageous things that we can do as a human being, and it will always win. Because here's the thing, us humans, we are not perfect. We are quite flawed, and even those that are the most disciplined still struggle. And it's so important that we pull back the curtain and share some of those things. Last year, I really pulled back and shared more about my motherhood journey and my experience with having a daughter that has PDA. I shared more about my personal life and some of the things that my partner and I like to do for fun. I, exposed more of what happens behind the scenes in the Beam Life community. And I talked about the struggles that I had with being in debt and money and co-parenting and all of those things that are real things that I have to deal with as I'm growing this business. And guess what? 2025 was an explosive year for me. Explosive. And honestly, the thing that I did different was I said, I'm going to double down on Caitlin. I am going to double down on how I want to dress, the things I want to talk about, the problems and the things that I experience on a day-to-day basis, because that is what you hear and that is what you see. And then you can be like, oh, wait a second. Building a business isn't just purchasing a program and checking the boxes. It's about getting through the hard times. It's about finding new solutions. It's about mindset and continuing even when things don't go your way. That is real life. You might be thinking, like, what does authenticity look like for me? And how could I actually be more authentic? And to be honest, I have started to hate the word authenticity because so many people are using it. Like, be authentic, be authentic. And I'm like, what does that actually mean? Because to each one of us, being authentic actually means something different. So instead of thinking, okay, I need to morph myself to pretend to be someone else to be successful, I'd love for you to start to imagine, what does the real version of success look like for you? If I were to snap my fingers or wave a magic wand and you woke up in your version of success, what does that actually look like for you? I'm going to be willing to bet for many of you, it does not look like boarding a private jet. Unless you're me, because yes, my version of success does look like a private jet. I'm a bougie bitch. Sorry, I'm not sorry. But for many of you, that's probably not what you're envisioning. You're envisioning being able to pick your kids up early from school and actually be present with them. You're envisioning taking a trip to the dreamiest place, Australia, Africa, Paris, and not worry about how much it costs. You're envisioning being able to renovate your house and that bathroom that has constantly been a problem, and you finally get to just call the people that you need to call and redo it the way you want to do it and not have to worry about a thing. And once you're rooted in that authenticity, I want you to start sharing that vision with your people. And then I want you to start imagining what your people, because your people probably want something similar. They want to feel more of themselves, right? And so how can you show more of yourself and what you want so that you can start creating that mutual connection? So you might be thinking, what's the solution? I'm going to share with you 3 things that are going to deeply help you to connect with yourself so that you can deeply start to connect with your dreamiest clients who are watching you right now and waiting for you to show this part of yourself that you've been keeping hidden for way too long. The first thing is stop building a business that looks like somebody else's. Here's like a good metaphor for that. If you're the kind of person, and I am, so I this is why this metaphor comes so vividly to me. That's like your house looks very lived in because you live in it, right? Like you've got maybe laundry on the couch, dishes on the sink, maybe your bed's not made. And then someone says, "Hey, I'm coming over," and you get this like sheer panic that like, oh my God, I need to clean and I'm going to like scrub the baseboards and I'm going to make it look like Pottery Barn in here. That's exactly the perfect metaphor for your business. If you feel like Instagram needs to look like Pottery Barn, but behind the scenes, you're the laundry on the couch and dishes in the sink kind of gal, then I need you to show us more of the laundry on the couch. And I don't mean actually, but I mean show us that part of yourself. It doesn't mean that the Pottery Barn part of you isn't real. It just means you're only showing that part of yourself. And so, how can you start to reveal these other parts that are the real human? Because that's the thing, right? When someone walks into our house, they're not seeing that. That's our own insecurities. That's the thing we feel like, oh my God, now so and so is going to judge me because I had dishes in my sink. And like I said, listen, I'm raising my hand. I am that person. And I have tried more and more not to be. But the more we can show the honesty, that part of the messiness, the more we're going to land. And I want you to put that into practice. Try one time this week to show the process, the behind the scenes, the obstacle that you're mentally doing gymnastics with. Share that with us. And then I want you to tell me how that landed with your people, because I guarantee you it's going to go a lot further than just staying surface level. The second thing I'm going to encourage you to talk about is I want you to share about your life. Your audience, of course, cares that you're an expert, but we know you're an expert. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a business doing whatever it is that you do. We want to know what makes you laugh. We want to know what you do on a Saturday when you don't have the kids. We want to know what shows you're watching. We want to know what makeup products you're using. We want to know how you style yourself. We want to know all of these things. What are you putting in your smoothie in the morning? This is all the things that create conversation. And guess what happens when conversations happen, babe? Sales. Because you become real. You become a human. You become trustworthy. Your audience has already followed you and knows that you can help them with XYZ. The part they're missing is the trust. And when we start chatting, because they're going to be like, oh my God, I never thought about adding, I don't know, hemp seeds to my smoothie before. What brand are you using? And you start genuinely connecting, be like, oh yeah, I get blah, blah, blah. It genuinely starts at like, you know what? I've been meaning to reach out to you to talk about blank. Natural conversation. Start talking about more of your life. We want to know. We're nosy. And the third thing, this is really big. Your magic is not in helping people become more like you. It's in helping them become more of themselves. When you master this, sales and genuine community become a true movement because people are so invested. They feel like you have unlocked something in them that has been locked away for a very long time. So remember, your magic is helping someone find more magic within themselves, not giving them your magic or some kind of manufactured magic that you think they want. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that strategy doesn't matter. I talk a lot about strategy, but strategy without genuine authenticity and genuine humanness is just a bunch of noise. and it's not going to land. And you're going to feel the same way I did at the end of 2024 when I was like, how the fuck have I invested this much, both in money and time? And I still feel like I don't know what my business is. I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I had a lot of strategy and I lost the authenticity. And if you're thinking, but my life's not interesting, I haven't had any crazy thing happen to me, I'm here to tell you your life is interesting. And sometimes being non interesting is the most interesting thing in today's world. Like, tell us that. Talk about you're the least interesting person on the internet. Nothing feels exciting about your life. Your relationship is great. Your kids are amazing. You're, growing your business. Financially, you're set. Like, talk about what that's like. Share that part of yourself. And I promise you, there is going to be a very big response. Authenticity is a huge part of growing your leads, growing your business, generating sales, having sales conversations that close. Because people these days, we're in a trust recession. They know and can sniff bullshit from a mile away. So when you show up in your calls and in your community and on social media, with knowing who you are and what you are doing and how you're serving and can share these really, interesting parts of yourself, the sales becomes inevitable. And I am going deeper into all of this in my free training on March 24th called Sales That Stay. I specifically created this free training because I'm so wildly passionate about helping women make more money by being themselves. Because when we feel ourselves and we're making money, we have freedom to do whatever the fuck we want to do. And to me, in a world of women who are free, we have started a revolution. And frankly, we need that right now. So if you are wanting to feel more liberated, be able to tap into these parts of yourself, stop hiding the very magic that we need, I encourage you to click the link below. Join us on March 24th. It's completely free to attend, and it will have life-changing little nuggets for you and your business. And I hope to see you there. As always, if this episode resonated with you, please subscribe. I drop new videos every single week, and I am passionate about helping you and your business make more sales. So that's what we do here.